Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Star Nation's organization's main fan page here at Facebook and the daily live stream. You know, it's based on the card draw that I do every morning, and it's Sunday, December 9th. December 9th. Yay. Are we sure we're done with Mercury retrograde? Yeah. We had a little hiccup with Be Live, our partners at Be Live TV. I went to go start the get everything set up, you know, for the live stream, and it wouldn't work. Couldn't get my camera to work. Had some gibberish for the microphone, which one to select. So I thought, okay, we're just going to do a native live stream today, and not worry about it, right? So it just took me a couple minutes to get everything typed in and ready to go for a native live stream. So I'm glad we're here. You know, technology is grand when it works, isn't it? Hey, Julie Shumway is out. You know what? The thing is that I can't click on your comments and show them on screen when I do a native live stream. So Julie says, we're done with Mercury retrograde. I know. Tell that to the technology. Some would say that we're still in the shadow, because I think it went direct on the 6th, right? Oh gosh, and astrologers say that we spend a week in the shadow, and yeah, I like it just to be done. And Rochelle is here with us. Hello, Rochelle. How you feeling? And Stephanie's with us too. Yeah, I was just going to send you a messenger, Stephanie. I've got one, but not the other. I've got Polly Joe's, but I don't have Mervin's yet. So, but I will get that to you after the show. And at least you can have Polly Joe's. We're still waiting on Mervin. I'm not sure what the holdup is. So, Julie's saying, yes, we are still in the shadow of the transition. Okay. So I can just still be in that same energy field that I set up at the beginning, which is, you know, I accept all the blessings, open arms from Mercury retrograde, and I let go, release everything less than a blessing, right? I should have said that before I came up here. Anywho, it's all right. One of the things that if you could help me do, I would really appreciate it, is because we didn't use the Be Live scheduled show, that some people might be waiting for the live stream to start using that. And if we can share out this live stream, this native live stream, like it and share it, that way we can reach as many people as possible. So I'm going to do my news feed, as I always do, and let my friends know I'm live streaming. And please join. That if you shared the scheduled Be Live notification from Facebook, those people won't know that we started. So, okay. The live chat. There we go. And get that posted. And I'll send it over to the radio network group too. And we'll get that done. And please join me. There we go. There. Get that one done. Yay. All right. I have tea today. In fact, I have mint tea. Mom is, she was having a really hard day yesterday afternoon, and it's kind of carried over into today. So we've been busy with pain management. And when she decided to break down and take her actual pain pills for it, it gives her a headache. And so we're using, I used peppermint oil to help her with the headache. And then just before I left, she asked for a cup of peppermint tea. And I thought, oh, God, that sounds good. I'm going to have some too. So peppermint tea. Yum. Yum, yum, yum. And I asked Rochelle how she was doing, and she says, in pain, but doing a little better. Each day is a success. Yay! That's a good attitude too. Thank you for sharing too, Rochelle. Um, yeah, yeah. you know, this pain situation. I do know enough about essential oils, but this much. To know that the pain, the oils that can be used for pain, one of the things that happens is that in our brain we have a membrane. It's called the pain barrier, and like aspirin or Tylenol, ibuprofen, and some of the other pain medications, some of them don't make it through the pain barrier, and so really what it's doing is it's literally going to the site of the pain, but it doesn't reach your brain, and so that's where we have that saying, mind over matter comes in. Okay. And so I do know, like Panaway, or I'm not sure what doTERRA calls theirs, but it takes, what is it, 20 seconds? I think it's 20 seconds. When you put it on the bottoms of your feet, the oil, that it gets through the pain barrier in the brain. And so your body actually starts to relax and not having to be the tenseness in your body. So, and it helps because then you're able to really deal with the pain, right? Yeah. So anyway, so she's doing okay compared to yesterday afternoon. I got home after the live stream yesterday afternoon, and it's like, holy smokes. So took a couple of hours to do that and then start working on the magazine. And so I was up late trying to get caught up with the magazine. Yeah, taking care of elderly parents, man, it changes your life for sure. But remember when we were talking yesterday about expressing your feelings, your emotions, and not suppressing them or repressing them? When you're a caregiver, it really challenges your tools and your allies and your tech and your skills, and really you really have to lean into your gifts a lot. And so that's what I was doing yesterday afternoon. Was leaning into those gifts and actually expressing the emotions, not in front of Mom necessarily, because she was feeling bad enough as it was. But talking it through with Paul and just going upstairs and just talking out loud and saying, doing the prayers, asking for assistance from my team, and asking my team to work with my mother's team and to show us what could be the optimum to use to help Mom to alleviate the pain to a point where she's at least comfortable. Doesn't mean the pain goes away, but she's at least comfortable, right? And having a good cry myself, because it's hard. It's hard to see your parent in that much pain and not be able to do much about it. Take control of it, basically. You can't do that because it's still her path. It's still her path to live. And for those that are in the chat, if you have elderly parents, you kind of know what I mean. It's kind of like, sometimes I think to myself that this must be what it's like, or similar, because I didn't have kids, right? So it might be similar to when your child is having an issue with pain or illness or something like that, and you really don't have much control over it, and how it feels, I don't want to say helpless, but you feel frustrated. It's like, okay, we tried that, it didn't work. We tried this and it kind of worked, but not very well. And so it's, frustrating is a good word. Yeah. Huh. All right. So today's card draw, when I was talking about leaning into your gifts, this card draw, I think, helps me anyway to understand that a little bit more. And the first card that came is Snake. It says, shed old skin. shed old skin. And when I was looking at this card, you can see the Shir Yantra in the back of the circle, and you have the inverted triangles. And an inverted triangle represents female energy, represents the energy of Grandmother Earth being female. Okay, it's not Earth energy itself because the triangle represents fire, but when the apex, when the point is facing down, it's facing down into the earth, into the earth. And so when this was one of those light bulb moments this morning. So it's one of the things that with my gifts I've learned how to when you do on hands-on. I've never really been trained for hands-on healing per se. It's not like I know Reiki or I know light body touch or quantum or anything like that. It's something I've been doing my entire life, right? Is putting my hands on somebody where it hurts, right? And alleviating some of the pain that way. And as an empath, feeling the pain and feeling where it hurts and when it starts to dissipate, right? To release. And so when I have my hands on someone and I'm helping them with their pain, the pain is literally going through me. But what I do is I send it down to the earth. I ask Grandmother Earth to please help me to take this pain and take it for this person down into her body, not mine, really, right? And so it's kind of like a lightning rod in a way, right? Because how the when the lightning strikes like a barn and they have the grounding wire, right? I'm the grounding wire, and we send it into the earth, and then Grandmother takes it and transmutes it. And so when I looked at this card and I was thinking about the tetrahedron or the triangle, and as it faces the point faces down into the earth, that's kind of what we do. We take that fire energy and we ground it to the earth. Yeah, does that make sense? Yeah, and I am really, really digging this green-blue color that the artist used throughout the deck, because it's even on the back. It's even on the back. Love that imagery. So, snake. And what do we know about snakes? It's about shedding old skin, right? We know that snakes, they have to be able, as they grow and expand, they have to shed their skin so that it's big enough to hold them, right, comfortably. And what a great metaphor, right? For as we grow, as we heal, and we expand our spiritual self, we have to be able to feel comfortable in this physical body. And so when it talks about shedding old skin, it's not necessarily our physical skin, although our skin does shed. It really is about our spiritual body. And when we let go and release, when we shed things that no longer serve us, we free up that energetic space for what will serve us or what can serve us. And so it's to get this particular card today, after what we talked about yesterday, spirits letting us know that they're helping us, reminding us that there's things that we have to shed in order to have our spiritual growth, to really work our soul contract, because our soul contract is all about our spiritual growth here on earth, right? The experience that we came here to have. And so we need to be able to expand and grow. And if we hold on to things that may have served us at one time, it could have been a positive thing. But as we grow and as we gain that wisdom, some of those old beliefs, or sometimes we outgrow them, and we need to let them go. We need to let them go. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Thank you, Stephanie, for listing the deck and also the magazine. Good one. Thank you. And so that's what we've been talking about, right? Is when we're having the courage to face our greatest fears, when we're having the courage to sort through our belief systems and to let go of things that no longer serve us. That's what we're doing. We're shedding our old skin. And so I think that this card is telling us that we're on the right path with this. And that to remind us is that we have help. We have help. That's our spiritual team. That when we run up against something that's uncomfortable, that we just don't even know how to get around, or how do we get, go through it, under it, around it? How do we remove this interference? That they're there to help us. That's what I got out of that first card. But let's see what Kyle has to say about snake. He says the message is: cast off the old, reveal your true colors, talents, and gifts to the world, so that when we get to the point of healing and releasing those things that no longer support us, especially those old coping mechanisms, those? Do you? I'm sure you have them. We all do. Those old coping mechanisms that really don't work anymore. Hey, Anne. Anne just joined us. We all have them, and they might have worked for us when we were kids or when we were young adults, adolescents. They might have worked just fine at that time. But when we use them when we're in our 30s and 40s or 50s, and it doesn't work anymore. And you know in your heart of hearts that it's not working. And so then you feel kind of lost and off balance. And what do you do, right? And I think that Spirit's way of pushing us out of the nest, putting us in a position to utilize, to apply some of those techniques and skills that we learned in a class, maybe, right? Is to start using them and start using our gifts. Yeah. Those old coping mechanisms that don't work anymore, and only you can decide that. Only you can make that determination, right? That it's not working for you, and releasing it, letting it go, and replacing it with something that does work for you, that chances are is even at a higher frequency than the old coping mechanism, right? Because you're not that person anymore. You're not that 13-year-old or 17-year-old or 25-year-old. And it worked maybe at the time, but no, not anymore. You outgrew it. And isn't it funny? I think that humans, two-leggeds, we are fascinating creatures. We're a complicated and complex species. Yeah. I mean, usually we're the ones that get in our own way. We're the ones who create the drama. We're the ones who take that old coping mechanism and try to bend it, twist it, and manipulate it so that we think it's working for us, and really what it's doing is it's impeding us. And the sooner we can identify it and let it go, the more comfortable whatever we're going through is going to be. But we don't do that. Many of us, what we do is we spend a lot of energy in trying to retrofit it. And what's that old saying? And I'm sure you guys have seen this. My dad used to do this, trying to get something to work, and eventually he'd take out the hammer and start tapping it, hitting it, trying to get it to work. And sometimes it did work, but many times it didn't. And so sometimes I think we do that with our old coping mechanisms. We try to get them to work, and then we start tapping on them, like in the old days, in the 60s or 70s, when we didn't have that many channels on the television, right? And you'd go and you have to tap the television to see if you could get it into better focus and that kind of thing. I know I'm dating myself. I'm not the only one, though. I'm sure there's a few people in the live chat that have done the same thing. Too funny. Oh, now I'm beginning to think that it's Facebook that's having the problem. And why? Is because the comments, I wasn't seeing any of the comments in the live stream here, and all of a sudden a whole bunch of them came through. So I'm going to double check to see if there's any comments in the chat that I missed. Nope, doesn't look like it. Okay, good. Didn't want to miss anything you guys had to say, to share. All right, so Kyle goes on to say, in many spiritual traditions, the snake offers powerful medicine. In tantric teachings, it symbolizes the kundalini, which is the powerful serpentine energy within that allows you to reach your highest spiritual potential. When the sacred ones saw a snake in nature or encountered them in a dream, they knew that there was transformation in the air. For Kyle, he says, the snake card not only represents the shedding of the old skin, but moving beyond the limitations caused by carrying the venom of negative thoughts about others or the past. Well, that's another way to look at it, is letting go of the venom. You know, those negative thoughts or the gossip. Yeah, and sometimes it depends on who you're with. If you're with friends and family, those people that are close to you, and you know the ones that still gossip. Sometimes, you know, because we care about them, we end up just kind of hanging in there until they're ready to move on to another subject. And when it's people that we don't really know, for me anyway, it's easier to say, you know what, I don't want to talk about that, or I know that person and that's not my experience with them. But you know what, you guys go ahead, I'll be back. I'm going to go over here for a little while and I'll be back, and remove myself from it. But I want to make sure that they know that I don't agree with them. Yeah. I actually told one person, because she says, you know, I don't want this to affect our relationship, our friendship. And I said, it won't, you know. I think we're adult enough. And I said, as long as you don't gossip about this other person and talk badly about her in front of me, you know, everything will be good, because there's other things we can talk about. And so, you know, it's also about boundaries, I think. Boundaries. And some people don't like boundaries. They say they do until you tell them no. and then it's an issue, because it's your boundary and not theirs. So like I said, we two-leggeds, we're complex creatures, and we create our own drama. And since we create it, we can also remove ourselves from it. That's the cool part. All right, so Kyle goes on to say that the energy of renewal is washing over your life at this time. If for some reason you feel that your true self hasn't been recognized, or you've been misread by others, know this energy is now leaving you. Isn't that nice? As you've been working through your old stories and all the self-limiting beliefs that you accumulated along the way, you've been peeling away a shield of skin that has created limiting experiences. Your own personal commitment to growth has been recognized, and now the external world will begin to reflect all the work that you've been doing within. Right? That's the Hermetic law. As above, so below. as within, so without. Your own personal commitment to growth has been recognized. Okay, blah, blah, blah. If you feel someone you love has misunderstood you recently, they will be able to see beyond that if you're willing to recognize your own challenges. This is a time for renewal, abundance, and connection. Let yourself be reborn and celebrated. All that from the snake, right? Yeah, because for those who did take up the nudge from spirit through the cards and start reevaluating and assessing and your belief systems, even if you took one or two and spent some time with them and say, do I really believe this, or does this support me in a positive way, right? And letting go of the parts or the pieces that don't, or releasing the whole thing. That's what we've been doing for the last couple weeks or so. Facing our greatest fears. That's the same thing. Because many times our fears are based in those old belief systems. Yeah. And so, you've been doing the work, and spirit has noticed, taking it into account on your earth walk. And so as we start to change and shift our beliefs and how it affects us on the inside, our world starts to shift around us. Yeah. And many times it does remove the drama. It does remove you from those lower vibrational experiences. It's sometimes we call family or friends. And so your life starts to change, sometimes in a subtle way at first. So you barely even notice it. You probably feel it more than they actually see it. And then one day something occurs and you think, wow, that's different. That used to send me off into orbit. That was the one trigger. That was the one button that so-and-so would press or push. And it doesn't make me feel that way anymore. Right? Yeah. That you notice it. And maybe by that time you're actually being able to see whatever situation that is from a higher perspective, a wider perspective, from the eagle, right? And you're in a position then to actually have forgiveness for all parties involved, because you can see it from a different perspective, that you're not taking it as personally as you used to. And aren't those the triggers, right? Yeah. And sometimes those triggers get too close to the truth, and that's why we react in such a emotional and primal way. It's because we're being forced to look at something we don't want to look at. Yeah, like I said, two-legged. we are complicated creatures. All right, here I'm gonna check my phone again, because you guys got awful quiet, and that's not like you. Let's see. Maybe it is like you. I don't know. All right, that's okay. So for those that are in the live chat, if you could answer, if you don't mind answering the question, is that have you begun looking at your belief systems? Stephanie is saying it is quiet today. Maybe it's because it's Sunday. It's a quiet afternoon. We actually have sunshine here. It's a little cold. It's cold, but we have sunshine, and it makes everything really sparkly with all the snow. But I'm just curious. If you started taking a look at even one of your beliefs that you feel has been an issue, right? And seeing if parts or bits of it still support you, if it supports you completely, or if it doesn't support you at all, and are you in the process of letting it go, healing the trauma around it, right? And if you are, thank you. Thank you. That would be a catchy miigwech. That's a large thank you for taking the step in that direction to do that, because yes, it helps you immensely, but it helps to shift the energy around in your environment. And when that happens, it's like a chain reaction, you know? Yeah. Okay, let's see. Julie says, yes, I've been looking at my beliefs and working on letting some of them go. Good for you, Julie. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Thank you so much for doing that. And Rochelle says, I've evaluated my belief system throughout my lifetime. Good one, Rochelle. You know, and but lately, have you let go of something that no longer supports you, and healing around it? You know, because that's what the cards have been showing us for weeks now, you know, and really, really emphasizing our gifts, right? And starting the application of our gifts and identifying our deepest or greatest desires, right? Yeah. Yeah, I think when I looked at the cards this morning, and dealing with mom's pain, you know, and that's when I came to realize that I've been, for the last probably 3 days or more, helping mom through her stuff, is I've really been leaning into the gifts more consciously doing that. And actually, you know, yeah, I wouldn't say that I'm consciously saying, okay, that's an old belief that doesn't serve. But I'm consciously aware of not using them. For instance, in the old days, right? When somebody that you're caregiving for, is that you're making sure that they eat certain foods and that sort of thing. Well, with mom's age and what she's going through, if she doesn't want to eat something like protein, it's harder for her to digest. It's like, what would you like? You know, you want flan? We'll get you flan. That's a lot of sugar. It's got eggs in it, though, right? And not being so narrow with it, you know? Yeah. Hey, Patricia, good to have you here. And Stephanie says, I've been systematically examining every aspect of my life this year. And this last month, I let go of a belief that was severely damaging to my life and others. Well, yay. Good for you, Stephanie. You know, when we let it go, sometimes we feel the shift, that's for sure. And sometimes in feeling that shift in ourselves and our energy, we do feel lighter, you know? It feels like there's this weight that has been lifted, right? And you feel lighter. Energetically, you feel lighter. Yeah. Julie says, I'm currently working on my dharma and calling the light to me. Good one. When you're consciously doing that, because remember, you are the light. The light's already inside you. It's turning your attention to it and focusing on it, and feeling the glow, feeling the energy around it, right? Yeah. So, you know, just if we turn our attention, our focus inward just for a moment, and our intention is about our light. And if you kind of just go inside and you say, where is it the brightest? Where does it feel the most light? You know, LIGHT. Where in your body do you feel it? And today I would have to say it's in my solar plexus. And that is where they say that your inner light is located. But a lot of times I'll feel it in my heart or in my throat. And just sensing it, and asking your team to help. Show me where that is in my body. I want to be able to identify it. And ask for help with that. Even if it's okay to use your imagination too, to see what it might even look like, what color it might be. But it's your inner light. And that's what I love about this is that there's nothing that we have to buy. There's nothing that we have to create. There's not the light is already here inside of us. And the love from the universe is already pouring through us. It's what we do with it. It's how we recognize it, turn our attention to it or not. Yeah. When I learned that one, it made me smile. Because anytime I need to do an attitude adjustment for myself, I usually end up with the attitude adjustment is reminding myself, I already have the light within. It's already here. And all I have to do is turn my attention to it. And acknowledge that the universal energy, which is at the frequency of love, is already flowing through me. It's already there. Yeah. Rochelle says, it seems that all my feelings are in my solar plexus. It's your power center. Patricia's saying, at this time, my inner light is dark at this time. Is it dim? Because it doesn't ever go dark, but it could be dim. And when our light is dim, many times it's because of, that's what they refer to as the dark night of the soul, right? Yeah, is that we're going through those challenges, those times when we're actually making decisions about that. Sometimes it is about those belief systems and how it's manifesting in our physical life. Julie says, in meditation the other day, I had a vision of moths fluttering at the edge of my light, and I was told, show your light, others will come to you like moths to a flame. Exactly. Like moths to a flame. And the thing is that when we allow our light to shine as brightly as it's intended to shine, that it's true, Julie, that all the things that are meant to come to us in forms of resources and all kinds of things, they find us so much easier. It's when, and Patricia, when we dim our light for whatever reason, because it could be all about your growth too. You've got some decisions to make about your spiritual growth. Because I've been there. Been there last year, turning down the brightness of my light, and then I learned a lot. I did. It was my decision. I made the decision to turn down my light to accommodate someone else. And when I finally said no, is when the shift happened. And things started changing quite quickly. But I spent a good part of the year allowing someone else to control the brightness of my light. And thinking that I had a healthy boundary, but that boundary was actually established and created out of fear rather than love. And when I realized that, and deleted that boundary and created a new one based in love, things started shifting, and I had a decision to make. I could have said, oh, do whatever you'd like to do. Everything will be fine. We'll make it work. Instead, I said, no. Worked 2 years to establish a brand, and no, I'm not going to turn it over to a company that doesn't even know us. No, not doing it. And things started happening really quickly. So, and I'm not saying that that's exactly what you're going through, but sometimes what we have to do is we really have to do that self-assessment. Yeah. So Patricia's saying, grieving the loss of my 3 sons this year. I want the light to shine, but it's blocked. I'm trying. Oh, it's blocked by the grief. Yeah. And grief can do that. Grief certainly can. And that's okay. This might sound a little different, Patricia. This may sound really because it's coming from my cultural background. Okay. Is that both the Ho-Chunk and Potawatomi culture, when somebody that very close to us that passes away, that walks on, right? Some of those belief systems are that in public, we don't show our emotions about it, which is one that I let go. I think that tears and sharing how you feel about it does make a difference. But one of the things that is helpful, that I do agree, that is extremely helpful when you're grieving, is to take the time that you need to be good to yourself and to go within, right? And we're in the time of the year on a medicine wheel that's exactly what the energy is doing. Grandmother Earth's energy is going within. And so when you're grieving, it's okay to do that, to pull your energies in and to do the grieving that you need to do. It's healing. The worst thing that you can do is not to express your grief. Especially in our society, we tend to squash it. We tend to push it down and act like it's not there when somebody asks you, so how are you doing? Oh, I'm doing okay. I'm fine. Instead of saying, I'm not okay. I'm doing the best I can, second by second. And one of the other things that happens is that it's actually encouraged for us not to be out in public very much, like not going to powwows, that kind of thing, because that way you don't have to fake that you're doing okay when you're not. But I think it's good to have help come in, whether you have a close family or friends that can come in and check on you, maybe spend a little time with you, bring over one of those dinners that you can reheat. In the Celtic sense, and this I learned from my friend Amantha, in the old Irish, she said that there were friends and family in these small villages, right, that when there was a death, that there were certain women, family, friends that would come in and they would take care of the people who were grieving, especially if, in your case, the mom, and they would actually help you to cry. They would cry with you. It's called keening, Keening, keening. And they would literally help you to do that, to express that, and helping you to do that. It's a healthy thing, and I haven't done the keening piece, but I can only imagine what it would be like to be surrounded by people who really do care about you, who are willing to hold you while you cry and to express that. Yeah. Hey, Donnie's here. Good to see you in the chat, Donnie. Patricia's saying, my friends are afraid to talk because I may told them that it's good for me to talk about them crying is perfectly normal. It's part of grieving. It is a part of grieving, and especially as women. Now, I'm not saying that crying isn't good for men, because that's true. But for women, because we actually have in our bodies, we have more water than men do, and that's for a reason. And there's also a belief that our tears hold wisdom. Our tears hold wisdom. And yeah. So Patricia, my heart goes out to you. And if you can find the right time for you, the divine timing for you to express it, to cry. Yeah. To express your emotions, to express your emotions. And hopefully you have friends and family close enough to you so that you don't have to do it alone. Yeah. Oh, you're welcome, Patricia. She says, thank you. You have been very helpful. You're welcome. I just hope that you have somebody close enough to you that you don't have to be alone to do this. Okay. Yeah. Why don't you come back, Patricia, when you feel comfortable with it, come back and join us for the live stream again and let us know how you're doing. Okay. All right. That's a part of what I love about our community here at Star Nations. We do support each other as best we can in a cyber kind of way. Oh my gosh. Oh, thank you, Stephanie. She put information in there about keening. Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Empty another drink. Okay. So from another culture perspective, another story about that in grieving. In the Potawatomi, which is the nation that I'm enrolled with, a tribal member of, that when they call it it's combing. It's like when somebody combs your hair, okay? Is that there's a ceremony that's done, and it's usually done before the end of the year anniversary of the loved one's passing, okay? And what it is that they literally have their hair combed. Yes, they do. And they also receive like a new shirt or a new pair of pants or a new skirt and top or something like that, new moccasins. And it's about having life start over again. That we acknowledge the grief, we acknowledge the loss, but we also acknowledge how much it's changed your life. And that should be acknowledged too. And it helps the person to consciously acknowledge that, right? Doesn't mean that your grief goes away. It doesn't mean that it's irrelevant. No. It means that even your grief has shifted, has changed, and to acknowledge it. Yeah, and then the Lakota, they do, the Osheti Sekoi, the Great Sioux Nation, they do a ceremony about wiping the tears, right? Yeah, wiping the tears. And they also include in that ceremony, it's called wasna. And what it is it's buffalo meat that's ground really, really fine. Some people might actually call it pemmican, okay? And along with the meat, there's also ground into it is usually choke cherries or blueberries or something like that. And it's very finely ground, mushed up. And we get a little bit, not a whole lot, but a little bit. And you're literally fed it, okay? It's like less than a full bite. It's just a little bit. And the wasna is said to feed the spirit, your soul. Just as much as we feed our physical body fuel, to burn as cleanly as possible, right? To give us the best energy possible. Wasna feeds the spirit, feeds your soul. And when you're going through grief, you can feel that energy drained, right? And that could be what you're feeling, Patricia, and that dimming of the light is that you need your soul, you need your spirit fed. And whatever culture, whatever belief system that you have in place that you feel is supporting you, you might want to try that to feed your spirit or your soul. Whether you go to communion, whether you go to, you could actually even fix a favorite meal, okay? Because it's you're taking in the food, but more importantly, you're taking in the higher vibration of why that's your favorite meal, right? Because it has a higher vibration. And it'd even be better if you could have somebody who loves you fix it, so that they're embedding their love, infusing their love into the food. And you don't have to eat much of it. You don't have to sit down and have a 7-course meal kind of thing. But it's enough to feed your soul, your spirit. You're feeding it love, basically. Yeah. Okay. That's what they wanted me to tell you, my team. And isn't that nice? Donnie says, my heart goes out to you and yours, to Patricia. Julie is saying, blessings to you, Patricia. See? Yeah, we can hold you in our hearts and say, send you good energy your way. A friend of mine says you're good juju, right? All right, let's see. We got about 10 minutes, not quite. I'm going to show you the second card because the first card was snake, right? That's how we get started on this. That's the first card. The second card, we've had this one many times. The Earth Guardian. Stay rooted and grounded. Rooted and grounded. Yeah. And with the Earth Guardian, it's about when we're rooted and grounded to Grandmother Earth is when we are the most balanced, calm, stable, and strong. So many times we use a tree as a metaphor or an analogy, right? About being grounded. And the deeper our roots go into Grandmother Earth, the calmer and more stable we are. Yeah. That even when we have those experiences that tend to knock us off balance, when we're grounded, we may have the experience of being shoved because it's a shocking experience, right? But it won't necessarily take us to our knees. It won't necessarily topple us. Now here's the thing, though, is that in a tornado or in a hurricane, right, there are many trees that are uprooted. Oh, we've seen it. You may have even experienced it in your own neighborhood, right? And many times those trees that are uprooted or snapped or something like that, many times those are the trees that aren't the healthiest, right? Aren't the healthiest. And so it's important for us to take care of our bodies too, our physical bodies. Because, in a belief system, Grandmother Earth is the one who gave us our physical body. We're a spirit having this physical experience. And in that physical experience is our physical body that was gifted to us by Grandmother Earth. And so when we are taking care of our body, our physical body, we feel stronger. We feel more energetic. We just feel overall better. better. And when we are grounded to Grandmother Earth, in other words, our energy is grounded into her body, we feel even stronger. Yeah. Okay, here's a good question for those in the chat. I know we only have a couple minutes left here, but how many of you did your grounding this morning? If you don't mind raising your hand and saying, I did. It's just a check-in, because, it's really up to you, right, to make that decision. And when you do your grounding, what it feels like, and when you don't, what it feels like. And so you have the opportunity to compare, right? And sometimes that helps us to remember to do it because we know we feel so much better. Stephanie said, I did. Rochelle says, I need to take care of my body in a more healthy manner. I would agree. I would agree. All right. So Rochelle, you know how to do it. You know how to do the grounding. And we only got a couple minutes left. And so what I want to say is, even if you just use your imagination, Rochelle, use your imagination and imagine feeling that energy from Grandfather Sky coming down through your crown chakra. Yeah. As it goes through your crown, down through your third eye. Yay, Donnie did too. And so Julie says, not yet. Okay. So just feeling that energy from Grandfather Sky, that universal energy, right? Coming down through you. So it's coming down through your crown, down through your third eye, flowing down through your throat chakra, down through your heart chakra, down through your solar plexus, flowing through your sacral, down to your root chakra, and then feeling that energy, that universal energy flowing down through both your legs, flowing down past your knees, past your ankles, and now flowing through your feet down into Grandmother Earth. Even if you're on a second floor, you can send, and with intention, you can send that universal energy down through your legs, down into Grandmother Earth, rooting you to Grandmother. Yeah. Sending it all the way down. Oh, Donnie said he didn't. Okay. So, you guys, you can, it's rather simple one, but you can do it. There's more complex ones, of course, but this one you can do in a matter of a minute or two. And when it feels complete for you, just take a big breath in and exhale like it's a completion, okay? Because it is a completion. And just turn your thoughts to how that energy flows through you constantly. It's a gentle flow, universal energy as it moves through you, down through your legs, down into the earth, grounding you. Yeah, easy. It's an easy one, simple. Okay. Yeah, now that we're at the top of the hour, the Earth Guardian, there was one sentence here that really kind of jumped out at me. It says it's important for you to take a grounded approach to your current situation, right? Take some time to calm down and get grounded. Breathe, relax, connect to your center. It's important. It's important to plant seeds that you're going to grow into something beautiful rather than into something that you really don't want, which is kind of considered a weed, right? But really it's about remembering our connection to Grandmother Earth. And when we're consciously connected to her, we're calmer, we're more stable, and we're stronger. Yeah. Because she loves us, no matter what. No matter what, she loves us. Our grandmother, Mother Earth. So what's coming up this week at Star Nations? Let me tell you a little bit about that. But first of all, Anything and everything we talked about today, just take what resonated with you, what felt good to you, embrace it. See how it helps you in your life today, how the energy unfolded for you today and this evening. Right? And if it didn't resonate with you, that's okay. Don't worry about it. It wasn't meant for you. Maybe you were just the messenger. You were here to say, hey, I heard this lady talking about being grounded and being, shedding our old beliefs and our that kind of thing. And you share it with somebody who maybe is interested in this kind of conversation, or they've been looking for the information, right? So maybe you're the messenger. And so you can just leave it lie like that, right? Yeah, it's all good. Don't worry. One of these days we'll be talking about something and that's going to resonate with you, and you're going to say, oh, that was it. That's why I was watching. Yeah. But for Star Nations, our live stream shows this week, we have at 9 a.m. Tuesday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern time is From Star to Stone with show host Mervyn Kelly. And Mervyn comes to us from England, and he's a modern druid. So his perspective, whatever he's sharing with us, comes from Druidry. And I believe he's going to be continuing his sharing about stones and crystals in his next show on Tuesday morning. Okay. And then at noon Eastern is Polyjola Bay with Chakra Sessions. And I believe she's going to be sharing about healing the inner child, another layer for the inner child. And that's at noon Eastern. What she does is she'll teach us about the chakra or chakras that are affected the most by the inner child, and then does a healing meditation around that. Okay. And then in the evening is my weekly show, which is Communications from Home. And this week is all about the December issue of Star Nations magazine. Come and listen to the backstory of some of the articles. You'll be surprised at what goes on in the backstories. And then sharing about what the magazine issue is all about. Okay. And then on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern is Soul Connections with Polyjola Bay. And that show is all about your healing. Coming in with your intention of what you'd like to heal or to release. And you're working with your own spiritual team. What Polly Jo does with her team is they create and hold the sacred space for us and assist us in that releasing or the healing. And that's about an hour and a half show. The first half is the healing meditation, guided meditation. And the second half is about an individual card draw. So if you enjoy getting a mini reading, you can come and get a card drawn for you, and Polly Jo will read that card for you. Yeah, I think that's it. Because every week we have different shows, right? And so the third week is much different. So anyway, I hope you can enjoy the shows with us and come in to the live chat and join us. Yeah. And let's see, I just want to get caught up in the chat room before we say bye for the day. Thank you, Stephanie. Kate, yeah, we have a Pinterest account. Always have. Since I think 2013 or 2014, and Stephanie, who is our brand new to the executive team, she is our social media manager, and she is getting us all aligned with all our social media stuff. So thank you so much, Stephanie. She's letting us know about Mervyn's show and Soul Connections. And Rochelle says, thank you for caring about my health. Oh, of course. We love you, Rochelle. Of course we would. And Donnie saying, beautiful as usual. Love and light to all. Yep. And I think that's it. Yay. All right. So enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And we'll see you back here Monday for the card draw live stream. And Bama Mina. That's Potawatomi 4 until we see each other again. Love you guys.